destroy things and say, they're going to do that because some people want power and they can't get it, so they will do anything. Black Lives Matter, those kind of people. $2 billion organization on top of nothing. What is their premise? What are they really fighting for? Nothing. But they are being funded by some organizations and they pay them. What if you are the one that just started the Black Lives Matter, but you have vision that makes sense, that everybody else can buy into it? What if you understand your purpose, that you are the one that's supposed to transform people, and you know what to do, and you follow that purpose, and you establish those things? There's no way. You see now how the system cannot ignore all those people. The Black Lives Matter, all this, they can't ignore them. They're going to give them the platform to say something. People are going to buy into the idea. Because why? Nature will always never allow any vacuum. Some people are looking for something. Once they have one person that will say, I will lead you, they will follow. Even if it's the person doesn't know where he's going, a lot of people will say, I like that idea. I'm just going to do what that person is saying. So the storm will come because these guys will run out of idea. They're already running out of idea right now. And because of that, they won't know what to do. They just keep on patching the economy. Now, how do I know that? You see, last year when we were talking about this storm, we're not going about, in 2019, the first time we talked about this, we didn't go into the statistics about everything, how many, and how much are we in debt as a nation. How many people are, in poverty and all those things. I'm going to talk about that next, my last session for tonight. But this is the problem. The storm will come, and when the storm comes, it will affect the system. So what happens when the storm hits the system? Remember, you are part of the system. And when the storm comes and hit the system, there are three things that I want you to know that's going to happen. Because the system is going to this direction. You're all involved in it, being piloted by those people. You don't have a decision. You don't make any decision. They determine your livelihood. When you go to school, they tell you what you want to learn. I don't tell them what they should teach you. They just teach you what they want to teach you. And I agree with them to teach you anything they want to teach you because I believe that's what's going to make you to be successful in the system. I want you to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer and aerial stuff like that. So I'm going to rely on the system to educate you the way you're going to be useful in the system, but not according to your design and your purpose that God created you to be. We do that. We send our kids to school. We don't even sometimes know even, what do they teach you in school today? Do you like that? Why do you want to be this? Some of those things. Well, we make them, we pride ourselves in, my kids, I want them to go to one of the best schools, which is okay. But what is the definition of that education? What is the system educating them for? Is it to be part of the elite of the society, or is it to be part of the working force? Because you went to school doesn't mean you're going to be able to have a say in the society. You have to understand what is the philosophy and the principle that bring forth transformation in society. What is it that you can do that you will not be ignoring the system? That's what makes sense. So, when the storm hits the system, which is anything can be the storm, the pandemic stuff, number one thing is, because this is the direction where the people are piloting the nation to, it's going to derail. They're going to go into another. And everything you've trusted, everything you've built, everything they said you should depend on them, it's going to be destroyed. Just take, for example, you had your plan, so many things you want to do, but when the pandemic hit, what did you do? You have to put everything on hold. Everybody needs to be shut down, be locked down inside the house. You can't fly out, you can't do anything. They tell you when to fly and when not to fly. Because you don't have your own airfield. You don't have all those access to those things. So your plan is on hold because you are overly dependent on the system. And they say, okay, your kids can't come to school right now. After all, why is your kids going to school? Is it not for them to be educated and to be wise and then to go into the system and then to serve the system? That's why we send them to school. So they can serve the system, and we say, well, he makes good money right now. That doesn't change anything. So the first thing is going to go, when the stump eats, the system is going to go off course. Messed up all that you have planned for. All that you think you're going to achieve depending on the system. Everything you think you've been working for. It's like a ship that is in a storm in the middle of the ocean. This is where the captain thinks the ship's supposed to be going this way. And then when the storm, he said, well, we can't do anything. The storm blew us to this other side. So instead of going to Germany, and then we get diverted to Korea because we can't talk with the storm. It's not something we can really do. Sometimes you're flying, they say we can't land because the storm is too much. So instead of landing at Virginia Airport, we're going to go to Atlanta. They divert the plane. You can't do anything, you're not the pilot. And they tell you there's a storm. They don't have power against the storm. That's the problem. They don't have power against the storm. Their intelligence cannot stop the storm. They can't. So they can just give you another idea. Even though you don't have anything to do in Atlanta, you bought the flight here, you say, I'm going to Virginia, but when the pilot say, I cannot land this plane in Virginia Airport, what are you going to do? You're going to sit down and hopefully you get to Atlanta. You're on your own. Then when you get to Atlanta, you start fighting wherever you book the ticket from. You say, okay, can you get me another ticket? But do you know what they've done? They've told you by that we control everything about you. Your life, your path, your decision, your business, we control it because you're not the pilot. But if you have your own private jet and you're flying somewhere, even if the plane, you decide where you want to go and land your plane. So that's what the system. So the system goes off course when the storm comes. And everything you build and you lie on the system goes somewhere. So the second thing. Now, another thing happens here. When this goes like this, instead of you to have strategy, every strategy that you have to do what you want to do, that strategy is cut off, and then you begin to live by speculation. I don't know, maybe this will work, maybe that's not going to work. Speculation. You can't be self-determined again because you didn't even know where the vessel was going before. You've just been in the system for so long, and you think that the system is supposed to contribute to everything that I need to be. And you get angry. You know what? The government said this. They just made a new policy that this is what's going to happen. We can't do this. You get angry with the system. And if somebody is up there deciding what you need to do and you're angry with the system, why can't you think and say, well, can I be independent of the system? That's what we're talking about. Can I be independent of the system? Can I determine the course of my own travel? Can I open a path for my people? Can I set in a new pathway? Because this is not working the way it's supposed to work. Do I know that the freedom that I think I have, I don't really have that freedom because people still decide my fate. The fate of my children. So strategy becomes speculation. You can't strategize anything because you don't determine nothing. And they've already showed you don't determine nothing. The pandemic already showed you don't have that power to determine things. But this is what I wanted to take out of it. You don't have the power to determine things, but whoever is making the decision are people like you. How could they tell you what to do? But you are not in that position to say, no, this is what I want to do. It's not because the government have guns. It's not because they have the military. It's just because you have not established yourself to be a voice that can be reckoned with and not be ignored. When the pandemic happened, the owner of Patriots football team took his plane, fly out of the country when they said no plane can go up. He flew out of the country, said, I'm going to help them to get some masks and some things and some ventilators. At the end of the day, he was able to do what he wants to do. Because they know people that are there and they can make a phone call and say, this is this is not a kind of a fiction. This is the reality we live in. Well, tell me somebody you can call in White House today and say, hey, can you make this happen? Tell me somebody. Tell me somebody you know in the Congress that can say, oh, Senator, this is what I'm thinking about, this and this. These are people like us. These are people like us. But it's not because of the position they are that's the problem. The problem is because they can make a decision that will affect your life and you can't say nothing about it. And we say we are free. And there are things that they don't know that you will know. But they're not going to listen to you because you have not fully developed your purpose to become a voice that cannot be ignored. Your potential, which is your assets. Now, the second thing that happens is you sacrifice. You sacrifice your potential. Now, what do I mean by you sacrifice your potential? Right, see, before the storm, you had a good job. And you're earning a lot, like 60,000, whatever. Now, when the storm happened, the people that you're depending on that employed you said, we can't. We're going to cut your salary into two. Because now we don't have productivity, we can't do this. Now they will determine your salary, they cut your salary into 30,000. It doesn't matter how much potential you have. You can't tell them because you didn't build that thing. They employ you. They'll tell you what they want to give you. Some will say, well, remember, you're sacrificing your potential. Your potential is your assets. Some will say, well, I can't pay more for this mortgage. We're going to sell this house and downsize. Because the storm. You know, a lot of people that had to, they have to take their house from them because they can't pay. There's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people like that. People like, okay, I can't continue this, right? The bank needs to repossess this from me because, I can't continue with this. And they'll take it away from you. The people build the bank. But you went to the bank and put your life in their hand and said, give me the money. They gave you the money and they give you condition. And they give you all this interest rate. And then you can't fulfill all those conditions and they have to take away from you what you've been laboring for. That's the system. You can't do anything about it until you become independent of the system. So you sacrifice your potential. And it's not a good thing. You devalue something that's supposed to be treasured to you. Your value becomes worthless. Because they say, we're going to pay you anything. It doesn't matter. And because you want to survive the storm, you will take whatever they give you. Our bread is better than none. Do that. So that's the problem. The third thing that happens, the fear for your life, because you have to survive the storm by all means. Now you're like, okay, my life is in jeopardy. I can't feed myself. I can't do this. What am I supposed to do? And when you are in this kind of fear, you will do anything else that you're not supposed to do. Because you must make sure you survive. You're looking for how to survive in life. You're looking for how to survive. So you will do whatever that it takes for you to survive. Let me explain this. So, when you get to that point, the last thing you're holding on to is your life. In the middle of the storm, your only guarantee for survival is your purpose. Now, one of the things, the reason I say your only guarantee for survival is your purpose, because one of the importance of your purpose is because your purpose helps you to survive during crisis. Yeah, your purpose helps you to survive during crisis. Why? Because when you're in the middle of a crisis and you find yourself somewhere, there's a reason why you are in that place at that point in time. There is some instinct that will come out from you when you're in the midst of a crisis to be able to solve a solution. It's just like to say, some kind of animals, they get into a different environment and then they transform. Because they have the capability within them, but you don't understand what you have until you get into the place where pressure is placed upon you and you begin to bring out ideas for survival. So your purpose is part of what will help you to survive crisis. But if you don't discover your purpose, you can't find out the ability in your purpose that will help you to survive crisis. Because if you understand your purpose, you begin to build along the line of that purpose. And when you build along the line of your purpose, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow, you begin to build something that will preserve your life and the life of your family. And if you can get deeper, you can preserve the life of people in your community or even in the nation by what you build. What do we think all those inventors are doing, all those innovators? They build things to preserve people's life. They understand to figure out the purpose in them, and they were able to build stuff. Oh, let me see. I don't want to go past my time. All right, I got 5 minutes. So, I'm going to emphasize again what your purpose is meant to do for you. Do you understand that purpose is what's called meaning? Purpose is meaning. Purpose is meaning. When you understand your purpose, that's when you have the meaning of your life. When you understand, so what I say, what's the purpose of this that I'm holding? I'm trying to what does it do? What's the function? What's the meaning of this thing? Oh, it's a tablet for this and this. It's not the name that's important, but what it serves. What is its purpose? What does it mean that I have this in my hand? What is its function? That's discovering purpose. When you understand your purpose, it's not about your name. It's about what do you mean at this point in time in existence. What are you here for? What are you supposed to accomplish? What is your essence? What are you doing? You got to understand what's the meaning of your life that you carry about every day. That's what purpose is all about. So purpose is everything when it comes to us, human beings. Why am I doing this? Why do I need to get married? Why do I need to have children? Why do I need to send my children to school? What's the meaning in the thing that I'm doing? What's the purpose in it? Anything without purpose or anything without meaning is worthless. It does not matter how good this thing is. If I give it to somebody that doesn't know what it means, they're just going to throw it away because they don't figure out what it's used for. They don't know the meaning. They don't know what it's all about. So let me give it to somebody that has never seen this before. I don't know what to do with it. What does it mean? So that's tell you that if you don't understand the purpose of something, you can't put value into that thing. So the value of your life is being determined by you understanding your purpose. The revelation of your purpose is what determines how valuable your life is. Because if you don't know your purpose, you just think, okay, I'm just supposed to be here, enjoying myself. But when you begin to realize your purpose, you say, well, I'm actually supposed to travel the world because of my purpose has built in those things in me. So purpose is about meaning. It's about meaning. Why am I in the system? What am I supposed to be doing in the system? Am I just supposed to comply with the system, just follow rules? And what is my purpose in the system? If I understand that purpose, I begin to follow the part of that purpose. And I begin to see what is my purpose to help the system, or is the system is never meant to build your purpose. Because why? The people building the system, they are people like you. So when somebody is at the top of the echelon, they decided a policy, and that policy trickled down to you, and you follow it. But what about if you are the one that is at the top of the echelon, and you're determining what people do? So that's what's like, I want to see what he's trying. I can't see. So this is it. I'm going to close this time. All right. Don't forget this. The system is here. This is where you need to be, on top, determining what is happening in the system. Not the system, you building the system, you become relevant. The system will always beckon unto you before they make decision, because you know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're just part of the multitude. And you can't change anything. Your purpose gets buried in the system when you don't find it. You get buried in the system. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows what you can contribute to the society. It's a waste of meaning, the waste of what you're supposed to contribute to the system. But when you discover yourself, you know your purpose. You see wherever you are, nobody can ignore you. Because there's something about your purpose that's unique that I don't have it. You're the only one that can fulfill that thing. Although it takes time to develop this purpose, but at the end of the day, it is worth doing it. To know, why am I here? You know, what am I doing here? So I'm here in El Paso. What am I doing here? I don't understand what I'm doing here. Why am I here in El Paso? What am I supposed to be doing here? I'm not going to do anything everybody's doing, because there's no uniqueness in that. My purpose would tell me this is the direction of your travel, and this is your destination. And that's because your purpose is part of what you are designed. Your design is in your purpose. When I understand the purpose of this laptop, this tablet, and I know it's designed to function that way, so I have to understand the design is what makes it to have that purpose. The way they design these, it's what's the purpose is. The way they design this mic is what the purpose is. So they design them differently. The specification is different, right? I can't use this in place of this. No, the design is different. So when you are designed, is to function in that way, capability in which you are designed. And when you come into the system, you're not supposed to be buried in the system. You're supposed to find your design and bring your design out and let your potential help you to fulfill it. So I'm going to stop here. Now, this is the first thing we talked about, the beginning of the seminar, 2019. The system, the purpose, potential, and the storm. This is not going to change. This is our direction of travel. So when we meet people, we want to let them understand, what do you contribute to the system? How is your voice being heard in the system? Now, for you to become a person of meaningful, of relevance, we're going to show you how to discover your purpose. We're going to show you that this is all you have. Your purpose and your potential, which is your assets. When there is crisis, your purpose is going to help you to become distinguished in the midst of the crisis. Just like I mentioned all those people that will say, well, there's crisis, but it doesn't matter, because I already know who I am. The system can't hold me down. I'm one of the people that influences the system. It's purpose, understanding your purpose. This time, you can't control this. When it comes, your purpose is what will distinguish you, that will be able to survive this thing. Your purpose. So this is where we started from. And we say, when we started talking about this in 2009, we didn't see any storm coming. We just know there's going to be a storm. But when the pandemic came, it's like a rehearsal of what the future is going to look like. And yes, the pandemic is a rehearsal of what the future is going to look like. Where everybody's going to be, we don't know what to do. We just shut down. What should we do? Well, we're not part of the voice. We're just going to listen to what they say. And we turn on the TV and sit down. What do they say? Oh, they say we should wear 3 masks. Okay. Well, we'll get 3 masks now. And some people quickly go and start making masks and make money and selling. We just go, can you please, I've checked Amazon, there's no mask. I've checked Walmart, there's no tissue. We can't even create tissue. We can't even invent tissue. And we're going to cry, there's no tissue. Walmart, why are you doing this to us? What's my purpose? Am I supposed to cry to Walmart to provide tissue for me? But if I know my purpose, the system is not going to dictate my path. I'm going to contribute to the system. When the storm comes, the storm is not going to push me down. I'm going to be able to stay above the storm because I know my purpose, I know my destination. And I can take all the people to that place. So that's where we started from. This is what we said our vision is to impact people with knowledge, timely knowledge that is essential, not just any knowledge. So this is where the journey begins. And I'm going to tell you what we did in 2020 when I come after Pastor Hernandez. So I'm going to stop here. I just want us to understand where the journey started from. Because if you don't know where you're coming from, you probably can't evaluate where you are. You can't even understand where you're going to. Why do we do what we do? Is it to have a seminar? No. We have a mandate to transform people's life. But whatever we're going to impart to them as knowledge must be timely and essential for them to understand. If you despise what I'm showing you, you're going to come back and say, if only I knew that what you're saying is it, I will have just, my life is going to be different today. That's what we're doing. So we sit down and criticize and look critically to what we're teaching and say, is there any relevance to where we are, to where we're going? If it's not having any relevance, don't teach it. That's not going to transform people's lives. People can get any information anywhere. But when we're putting out something and say, this is it. See, guys, let's see. Let's tell you what's going on right now. This is our operational environment, the system. But what's your purpose in the system? Are you going to be buried in the system? Or are you going to have a voice? Are you going to develop your potential, which is your asset? Or are you just going to because if you don't develop this, when the storm comes and hit the system, because you are buried in the system, you don't have a voice. So I hope we, remember some few things. All right. So that's going to be for me for this night. So I just want to encourage us, just make sure, if you haven't discovered your purpose, find people who know what they're doing and know where they're going to. Associate with them. Associate with them. If you know they know what they're doing, they know where they're going, have relationship with those people. And because they will help you to cheer you up and help you to bring something out of you. It doesn't matter. They will help you because they are already going somewhere. And if you want to catch up with them, you can't stop them because they are focused. They know where they're going to. You can't stop them, but you have to run and catch up with them. And then they can tag you along and show you. It doesn't mean you're going to live for their purpose. They're only going to show you how to get yours